Well, if that doesn't get you excited, ladies and gentlemen, nothing will. Welcome back to another iteration of the Simsational TV Hotlap series with yours truly, Zach O'Reilly. Just loving every single moment that I get on and be able to do these for all of our drivers and for anyone else in the world wanting to get some quick laps around a famous New Zealand track that is now basically torn up into pieces, and in the future, if it hasn't happened already, and was an absolute barnstormer. Every V8 Supercars race we had here was something special. There's never a highlight that would go missing, and definitely no lowlights, that's for sure. But I'm excited because we are flying around this circuit, and the times at the moment are very close on the practice server at this point in time. It's incredibly close. I'm loving every single second of it. And here at Simsational TV, we love nothing more than a bit of competition when it comes to stream time. And this is exactly what we're trying to do here, is make you guys all get further up the grid and make some more fair competition for the rest of everyone out there to make the racing even more challenging. But that's part of all of it. But we are going to crack right into it here. Get into a beautiful hot lap educational session from yours truly, as I said earlier. So let's get on with it without further ado. Let's crack on. So we are at the start of the lap. I am nearly crossing the start-finish line here. Nearly at the top of fifth gear here into sixth as we will play it in uno momento. Flying down the front straightaway and turning in just at that point past the 50-metre mark. You can see I'm still in sixth gear here at this time, but I am on the brakes. We'll bring that closer into a view if you can watch it as well. Straight into the braking area, getting the car turned in and pointed at about 250 Ks. And this is a very important corner. You can gain 3/10 if you get this right. Run it through the gears down backwards into fifth. Get it up onto the ripple strip as early as you possibly can, and even ride the inner edge of that ripple strip on the inside right-hand curbage. Still turning the car because we are travelling at over 200 k an hour still. Heavy on the anchors. As soon as you straighten up and then turn the car in, because we have got a horrible section of track here that can make or break heroes. 3, 2 is the gear that you want to be into that corner. You want to be in third as you come into the left-hander. Then slap it into second to retard the car's speed and run over this inside ripple strip. And if you can get the car tuned just so it dances on there but then settles very quickly, you're in for an absolute rip snorter of a time here. And we'll see that right now, because if I'm in second gear, I'm still turning. Bit more steering lock on because the car does want to understeer wide, but I'm still slowing down. I'm at 96 k an hour as the slowest part of the circuit. Short shift into third gear. I'm not sure how many people do this, but it's a bit of a secret there for these cars with these tyres. And run the car as wide as you possibly can. Just a touch of oversteer on exit there for myself, but it didn't hamper me at all. Still gaining speed and onto the back straightaway we go. It's a relatively short lap. Not many corners here, but still a very technical circuit to do. Into top gear, sixth gear as we see, and heavy braking zone coming our way here. And you'll see, just as we're going past the 150 metre board, you'll see where I brake, right basically at 140. And I start to slam the brakes on, but I'm full on the pedal. Now I'm easing off. Still modulating that brake pedal, rowing back through the gears, turning it in early and nudging just that inside curb. Sort of slews me out, but it doesn't really slide me too much because I can gather it and still stay mid-track. And you can see exactly where I am at the point of turn-in. Let's have a look on the swingman cam if we can get it there. I'm mid-corner here at this point in time because of my shallow entry. But you will find that once we get into it and we start making our way around the corner, I've dipped the car in and now we are sliding. I'm completely off the brakes, already on the throttle, just modulating it as I come out, half on, and then I can slowly ease the power on, because by jingo, by gee, by crikey, if you get on the power too early here, you will be off into the bunda and oversteering and losing momentum. So second gear holding through that left-hander, third gear flat out, nearly fourth gear, slap it, and as soon as you get to this point where you start braking and you think, oh gee, I've got a bit more time, you haven't got any time, boys. You need to get on that brake pedal before you start to see those black skid marks in front of you creep under the bonnet's view, because if you overshoot this corner, again, you could basically go off the track, you could lose 6/10, you could lose a second and a half trying to gather it up to the person in front, and that is a massive loss. We'll see how we do it. And we'll lock it down to 4 times speed. Third gear, second gear as well. Really rev limit bashing it, but hard on the anchors. Just getting the car dancing on the rear end to get it turned in very, very nicely. And it just holds on. I'm on the throttle already, you can see, because I know I've got the rear traction. And nearly at full throttle by the time. Short shift to second again. And just a touch of little bit of oversteer, but not too much. And that is the ideal exit there. You want to just nudge that ripple strip. If you can even avoid it on the left-hand side, that's even better too. But nonetheless, we'll keep going here. Keep going into the next section. Fourth gear, over the black markers. Very, very tricky section of the track here. When you dance over the top of that ripple strip on the inside, bang goes the car, and as soon as it settles, you're off the throttle, and we are braking at the same time, getting it turned in, sort of braking and throttling at the same time. Very easy to overshoot this corner and run off into the bunda on the left-hand side, but you can see what the throttle is doing. The steering angle just seems like it goes on and on and on and on forever, but it doesn't. It actually grips up, and the more you get on that throttle pedal, as you can see, I'm at full beans here, flat to the floor, the rear will actually start to grip up and pull the car around, which means you have to have less steering angle on here. As you see, I'm just holding it at a gradual angle, and now I know I'm basically going to make the corner and run off, just touching that extra bit of generous tarmac that they put there, but probably done by the apprentices by the look of that. Not very good. And that is basically the lap, because you are powering onto the start-finish line. And if you aren't hitting 240 odd Ks before you get to the start-finish line in top gear, you need to be quick. And the lap time, as we see across, 101.868 around here. And we'll reset it, and we'll go for a quick one, and then we'll get into some little bits of tips and tricks that I can show you exactly what we're talking about here. So let's go for a full speed lap commentary session here into 6th gear, turn 1 coming our way. Bang into 5th gear, turn the car in early, ride that ripple strip on the inside, don't let it run too wide. Down to 4th, 3rd. Slow shift into 2nd, get the car slowed down and pointed towards the apex as quick as you can in the exit, because it maximises momentum onto the back straight there. 4th gear, 5th gear coming our way now. 6th gear, not too far away at 229 k's an hour. Pretty simple this bit, but braking at about the 140 metre board. Heavy down the gears, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. Just touch the inside ripple strip, dance it on the arse, then get it in, turned in as well in 2nd gear. Turn left, get it basically balanced and exit perfectly there over the ripple strip on the inside. Heavy braking into the final hairpin of the circuit. Get the car rotated early onto the power. Short shift to 2nd. Maximise the grip on exit. I should be oversteering everywhere. 4th gear over the black stuff. 5th gear riding the ripple strip there. Slap down. Then off the throttle, on the throttle, modulating it. Full beans because the car is being pulled around. And geez Louise, it's over in a heartbeat. It feels like in a race car. 1 minute 0.8. 1 minute 1.8 is it's all over. We're over. Your rhythm has got to be on point, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to get it right, else you will be 3 metres off an apex. You'll be half a car width too wide at some point of the track, or you'll just be overshooting your brake markers, and that's what you don't want to do. I can guarantee you that. Let's go for let's go here to the swingman camera. Let's go to, if we can find it, S. Right, I was nearly there. Probably the most hardest part of the circuit, I would say, to get right in terms of gaining time. And we can see what is going on here as I'm braking. So when you're braking here, you really want to sort of just let the car, I don't know how to say it, just let it do its thing. And we can see here that I'm still on the brakes, but in relativity to where I am on the circuit, I'm still mid-track. So we'll go back and we'll watch this. So turning in early, still on the anchors, still trail braking, but getting off the brake pedal, easing it off, and then on the throttle as soon as I know I'm off. And you can see how the car is still sliding there. It's still sliding and rotating, but you're on the throttle because right now we're on that outer part of the black stuff there. That is the ideal entry that you want to go. If you try to go too wide here and then duck in, your car will actually over-rotate and come back in. It depends on how your car is set up too. If you have a really, really loose front end and it's really understeery, you probably want to even do a shallower turn in just to make the corner, but not what you want to do, not ideal in the grand scheme of things. So try not to do that if you ask me. But when you see what I do here, so I'm dancing it in now and still on the brakes, but modulating and getting it off. You can see the throttle tracing there. Starts to touch there and on the throttle, nicely pointed onto that apex. Can't get much better of an apex than that. In second gear as well, mind you. Don't downshift to first. You lose too much momentum and you don't make it up on the exit of the corner. And then the final hairpin coming our way too. See what I'm doing here? You've basically made the corner. You're like, oh, got out of there beautifully. Thank you very much. And then by the time you think about that, you now have to hit the brakes. And you're already on the anchors and you're right out on the outer edge, nearly tipping the wheels onto the grass. Not what you want to do, obviously, but start turning in and get the car sliding. The car is actually sliding here. You can see its trajectory. It's sort of trying to get itself in. And then finally, right where you want it to, we're sort of going to apex very, very early, well, mid-corner there, and then make our way around the final section of the hairpin. And you can see that I don't run it too wide because I'm already on the throttle. Even though my trajectory was, let's go and see if we can get a free cam here. Let's go up and do the old chopper cam. And let's go into the sky. You can see what I'm talking about. So if I'm coming in, if I can get that view right, you can see it's basically around about there. I'm right on the apex of the corner, right on the apex. And then I'm still following that black line on the exit because that is where the grip is and that's where the traction is. So just one more time, we'll watch it in slow motion, uninterrupted. You can see here, mid-corner apex. You don't want to get too shallow because too shallow, you'll run out and further out to the left-hand side of the circuit. But getting it mid-corner and just hugging the track because it is sort of an on-canvas type of corner, it will help you on the exit there as well. And we'll give you another trajectory too. We'll go back over here. We'll start flying in the chopper cam. Pilot is not drunk today. I can tell you that one. He is on point. He knows where the action is. And he's going to find the action because the car is going to be hovering very, very shortly in the wrong direction. So let's have a look here. Let's get the car back here somewhere. There he is. So follow me in. Let's go chopper cam. Just over here, boy. Just over here a little bit, please. Beautiful. That's a bit better. So let's watch the entry here as we come in. Very, very shallow in. Just nudging the inside of that curb. Still sliding, but mid-circuit. See, I don't really get any further over than the middle of the track. And then point it in as soon as the car's straight. And then you will see on the exit there as well where the car is pointed already. It's accelerating. It's gone. See you later, alligator. I'm going. I'm out of there. And you can see exactly what happens. When you mount that curb, you will lose too much time. But if you rub that inside one there and get the trajectory right, you'll just see that it's nearly one continuous whole flowing section of the circuit where your wheel really doesn't turn straight for more than 2 seconds. And then you're down into that hairpin. And you can see how it dips down there, actually. So that's a very good indicator. It dips down, and then this part of the section of the circuit where I'm exiting now is on camber, which means it's banked. So you actually can accelerate very, very early there and then just watch me sail off down into the sunset. I wonder if the chopper cam can pick up the behavior here before I get around there of what actually happens here as you bump yourself over this curb. Here we go. So you'll see, look at that, fully 2 wheels in the air and then dancing it straight back on the brake pedal to get it turned in and gone. That's a pretty cool replay, that one. That's really, really helpful. We'll watch that one again, I reckon. Come back here and you'll see it once more, Daft Punk style, one more time. I'm coming through just about now, I reckon, if it's still going. Oh, he's coming, I'm coming. There I go. So, right, see, 2 wheels in the air and then whack, you can see the car just sort of grip up a little bit with the physics there, and that's what you want to happen and get it pointed in, because the reason being that you try to come middle of the circuit, and we'll get to that here, the reason you come middle of the circuit is because look where you're facing there, and then in the grand scheme of things, well, by the time we get around to the end of the circuit of this corner, if we look at the exit of it here, see if we can zoom in to get me coming. And you'll find here that by the time, see how I have managed to get it basically dancing on the inside of that curb right up until the point of the exit, which is very, very crucial because that bit of tarmac over there made by the apprentices in grade 6 on work experience is probably your only lifesaver before you go off into the bunda. And I just touch it there, and then that's the end of it. That's the end of the lap. And that is basically the track guide, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that gives you some form of information and see what you can actually do. I'll go back to the cockpit view for just 1 second, and before we get anywhere, I'll tell you what the setup is in a nutshell. You're running minimal pressures on the left-hand side, 2 psi up from that, so 15 on the left, 17 on the front. ARBs are 4 and 8 in this car. Alignment is 2.1 on the front and 1.9 on the rear. Wheel rate is 70 at the front, 60 at the rear. Heights are 61 at the front, 64 at the rear. Wing is at 9. Running the super soft compound, obviously. Dampers are 3, 1, 2, 3 in order from the first menu, and it's symmetrical. So fronts is 3, 1, 2, 3, and rears 1, 2, 1, 4. Hopefully that helps you in the grand scheme of things with everything else. If there are any other questions, please let me know. But with the Hotlap stuff, that's a quick one, and it's all over because by the time it's all said and done, it's a minute, and that's it. So I think we're all good to go here. Thank you for watching. Stick around. On Sunday, coming your way is the actual race itself this weekend. Boy, it's going to be awesome. Sandown is on as well, and that's any inspiration, I'll go because if you want to be watching those guys go around and then do the same thing on the circuit here at Pukekohe, be here at OK Racing and Simsational TV. We'll see you then. But as of now, it's adieu and good night.